Awesomeness. Very
In
cool.
they come. Yay.
Awesome.
And
Yay.
then we will let folks kind of trickle in.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we'll, okay. All right, so
And
it looks like I'm 21 out of 101. That's how many people could come.
Okay.
But 21 are here.
You're like 101 Dalmatians, right? Wasn't that a thing?
Yes, I love it.
Oh.
Okay, so, lots and lots and lots of folks are coming in, which is good.
Perfect.
Because it's not even 6 o'clock yet.
Yeah, that's great. Now, Kris, I'm having a brain fart. How do I share my screen?
Okay. Did I? Okay, hold on. Maybe I did that for you. Allowed you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Maybe, I don't know. Hold on. I'm going to make you a presenter. I think that's what I did.
Okay, cool. Yay!
So now,
yes, now I have the option.
Open it up?
Yes, that's perfect.
Let's go.
Excellent. Excellent.
Great. Yay. Oh, good. So I'm going to join that while we're letting others come in.
Perfect.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. We'll get started in about 2 minutes here. We're really excited to have you back for round 2.
You know what? I meant to share my screen. You know why?
Why?
Because I had this really cute little picture.
Oh, here, then take sharing back. I'll stop sharing. Stop sharing screen.
For just a second. Just a quick second. Look at that. Okay, wait. Hold on.
Okay, I think I did it.
Let me see if okay. Now let's see if this brain can make it happen.
You got this.
And you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to change my name from Vicky Mazer to Kris McGee.
I saw that. It's all good.
Fantastic. All right, hold on. Maybe I can't think. Mine doesn't show the little screen sharing thing.
But you're the presenter. Oh wait,
how's
that? Verify presenters change. Yes. Do you have the option now?
Oh, show my screen. Yeah.
There
so I guess
we
both can't.
Oh, we can't both share screens at the same time.
Isn't that weird?
That is strange.
That's strange. And why it wouldn't let me? Oh, that's what I wanted.
Look how cute. Adorable.
Right? Look at that. We'll send everyone a socially distanced hug.
I love it. I love it.
Grab all the junk on my desktop. Right.
This is great.
We'll do that while folks are joining.
Yeah.
And let me see if I can't change my name. I feel like I did last time. I switched it to McGee, but she obviously switched it back. I can tell everybody it's me.
No problemo.
Let me see how many presenters or how many folks are here. Ooh, we got 28 already in.
Nice. Very cool.
Right. Let me take away my hug. I'll stop showing my screen. That way you can put yours back up. Oh, I do have a cool button that I could just switch us over. I just now saw that.
Oh, nice. Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that'll be kind of cool. All right, let me see. Ooh, I might be able to edit my name. Chicky. Make that say Kris McGee, please. All right, there we go.
Excellent.
Before we hang up or before we close out, say to me, Kris, change that back to Vicky.
Okay, I'll try to remember. I'll write it on my note card.
Can you change it
Kris,
back?
change your name.
So, yes. All right. So do we want to go ahead and get started? Because
let's roll this. Can you just make me a little presenter and we'll be good to go.
Oh, did I take it away from you? Oh, for the love of Pete. Okay. Let me see. Gotta find you again. Oh.
You make me laugh.
Hold on one sec. Sam, there we are. And make a presenter. Okay.
Awesomeness. Fantastic. All right.
Yay.
Hey, hello, friends.
There
Welcome
we go.
back to round two of Future Teachers Lead. I'm Sam and joined with Kris today, and we are going to start
Hi.
off with Nearpod. I'm really excited for us to share a little bit about some of our favorite tools. Mine for this presentation is Nearpod. So if you can just bebop on over to nearpod.com, or if you want to join on your device, you can download the app. It's Nearpod, and you can join with the code QTGKM. And as we wait for some of our friends to join in here, what I love about Nearpod and what it's so great to use it for, especially during this distance learning. And if you joined us a little bit earlier, you saw Kris's screen pop up with sending you a virtual hug. I love it. So sweet, so sweet. And I love using Nearpod because I can have all of my students engage with learning content, and they're all responsible for their own learning. I can download data and I can see how they did on questions that I asked, and I can engage them with content, not just like a slideshow and clicking through, but I can engage them in simulations, in 3D models, and even a virtual field trip. And there's so much out there on Nearpod available to us as teachers on their free library. And they are even giving us 30 days of their gold trial as well. And I'll give that to you guys as we end out our presentation for today. So I'm going to spend the first half hour talking about Nearpod, and Kris is going to spend the last half hour talking about blendspace. So let's get into Nearpod. If you go to join.nearpod.com, you can type in this code here, or if you head on over to the app, just download the app Nearpod, and it'll ask you for a code, and this is a code that you're going to pop in there. And you guys
That's
should
one of the
see,
things I love.
yeah,
Sorry. I just want to say, when we talk about this, it's always great when a tool has both an app and a website, because not everyone has iPads, so the app isn't always the best way to go, and you need to have, the website option. So this is a cool thing about Nearpod. And also there are free versions, right? Because I
absolutely,
have a paid
yes.
version, but are there free?
Yes, there are free versions. There's free, there's freemium, and then there's like ultra, like platinum. But you can do a lot with the free version that they have. So as we get ready and as we wait for our number here to join, you can see in the lower left-hand side of the screen, there's 22 people in our session today. I was trying to click over to see how many, we have 34 attendees here in
Yeah.
our Zoom meeting. So I'm just going to wait a little bit here. And as we wait for our attendees to join, if you wouldn't mind snapping a quick pic of you and your workspace, getting ready to go here. And I'm going to try to do it here.
I don't know if I can.
There we go. We did something, and I'll tweet that out later today. But I want you to send a little picture of you joining our session today with the hashtag Future Teachers Lead, because that's our jam. You'll notice with Nearpod, I can have text on a slide. I can also have a GIF, but I would recommend watching the GIF the whole way through on preview mode, because you never know what they might flip to. So I learned that the hard way the other day. We're still waiting for a few more attendees, which is fine, because you'll see in the top right-hand side of the screen, the code will always be there on the top side of the teacher screen, so you can join at any time. I can see student names or I can hide them. I'm going to hide them for today's lesson, and we're going to click through. So on your screen, if you're still joining Nearpod, that is fine. You can have our code up in the top left. But if you're already in Nearpod, I want you to share with me, how familiar are you with the tool Nearpod, either as a student or as a teacher? So we have lots of responses here, ranging from I could totally rock this session and let me co-lead with you, to I'm not 100% sure what Nearpod is, which is fine. And it looks like we're all in between there. I love it. I'm familiar with Nearpod. What the heck is it? I have used it. Nice. This is great. And we can still see our friends are still joining down here in the lower left-hand side. Now, as the teacher, I can go and I can share these results with you. I'm not going to show you on this example, but as a teacher, I can go in, I can see at the end of our session how everybody did. So if this was a multiple choice question, maybe I'm doing a pretest or seeing how students are doing before we get into our content, I can see how we're doing, make my teaching decision and then continue on with my lesson. So I'm going to keep flipping through here. Looks like we're still waiting for a few more answers, but that's all right. Looks like most of us are in the C column. I'm familiar with Nearpod, which is fantastic. Today we're going to walk through what is Nearpod. I'm going to walk you through a little sample lesson that Nearpod created. Most of this presentation from today's session was from their training materials that they already have available to you. They have an FAQ guide. They have a Google Doc of like, if you're creating a Nearpod presentation, make sure you include these things. They also have this presentation, which I'm showing you today, and we're going to walk through how to create it with your own teaching material. We're going to look at the library and all the resources that they have available to you. So we're going to walk through what Nearpod looks like from the student perspective in this presentation. And we know that Nearpod really allows our students to interact with content in really engaging ways. So as a teacher, I'm sure you notice as I flip through slides, your slides flip too. I love that feature as a teacher because I know that if I'm presenting on slide 6, all of my students are on slide 6. So many times I'm presenting, I know, right? So many times I'm on
Yeah.
slide shows and I'm on slide 6 and they're on slide 10 or they're on slide 2. Like, okay. So it's with Nearpod, everyone's on the same page. Literally, we're all on that same page. I can instantly see their answers on in the teacher view. You're going to notice on a few of the questions, some of them are drawing answers, and I can see how they're doing as they progress throughout their drawing. I can share answers individually with students. I can share people's responses to the whole group. And then I can track, and I can, at the end of our session, I can download that data and I can make my teaching decisions, see what I need to reteach, see if there's any misconceptions, and see where I can keep going with the content. So it really is a versatile tool. Another piece of versatility when it comes to Nearpod are their lesson structures. I can do a live lesson just like I'm doing now, where everyone's on the same Nearpod at the same time. We're interacting, we're answering questions, we're doing collaboration boards, whatever it might be. Or there's student pace, which I love too. And it's kind of like homework mode. I like to use it with my pre-service teachers when we're studying for a test in class. We'll do a Nearpod presentation together. We'll do some formative assessment pieces, and then I'll send them the student code. And then they have access to that for a specific amount of time that I allot, and they can access that Nearpod at any time, and they can work through those questions. They can work through that content. So it's fantastic for, I want to say, asynchronous learning. Is that
For
not the same
no,
time?
for
Oh,
synchronous. I know. It seems like it should be, but synchronous
right.
is when you're in sync and you're on at the
Thank
same
you.
time. Asynchronous is all by yourself.
Thank you. So for asynchronous learning, the student pace would work best.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
great because they can access it, like Kris said, on their device, on a website. So it's very versatile. And not only the way you can access that content, but the way you deliver it as well. There's tons of ways we can engage our students with learning, and we're going to have a couple of these examples sprinkled throughout our presentation today. I think you'll really enjoy them. And it's more than just presenting the content through a slide, but students can really engage in that material. For example, you'll check out a 3D model, we'll go on a virtual field trip, and all of these things are plugged right into Nearpod. All you do is select it. And there's different ways you can assess with Nearpod as well. I love assessing my students with drawing questions, with time to climbs, which are really fun, interactive, multiple choice questions, and it kind of a race against the clock type thing. They have to race up a hill answering questions. There's a collaboration board, which looks like a digital bulletin board with sticky notes, which is a lot of fun for students to write out their own response, and then they can like each other's responses on the sticky board. I think that's just a great way for brainstorming.
Mhm.
And Nearpod also provides sample lessons. They have tons of these lessons, K to 12, and a plethora of subject areas that you guys can check out as well. So there's one example on your screen. You should be able to click through. This is an example of a slideshow type content piece where it gives a student, here's a prompt that you need to do. We're not really going to do this, but this is just an example. And I'm sure we've all done this example, but what we can do is students can maybe progress through at their, they can progress through 3 or 4 slides, maybe the life cycle of a plant or something like that, where they're seeing different steps of a process or different steps of solving an equation. And then I can pull in my multiple choice. So now that my students maybe did a think pair share in a face-to-face class, now we're doing a multiple choice with the whole group. And we're not going to answer this one. So let me
Oh,
just keep rolling here.
I wanted to.
Um, all devices. So this next slide, hopefully, is you can embed video within here, and you should be able to play it through if you would like. And you can add in video into your presentation. You can pull in YouTube videos, and you can have the video play only on your device. So if you're doing a face-to-face class and you're using Nearpod, you just want to play it on the big screen, you can totally rock that. Or if students are in this virtual space like we're in now, students can play it on their own device. This is great for students to relearn content or review it if they need to. I love the versatility of being able to play it across all the devices or just one, so students can still have access to that content. And you can also pull in different types of questions like this one here that students can interact with. So this one is a open-ended question. I have other examples that I want to show you, but these are just some different ways that students can interact with your content. One of my favorite ones, though, is a virtual
Yes.
field trip. Oh my gosh, Kris, I know as
Love
a
it.
professor that teaches literacy, you have all these ideas going on, I'm sure. But what I love about this is setting the stage to engage our learners, and this really does the trick. So if students
So
are on
cool.
their mobile devices, if they move their device all around, they can really be immersed in that environment. Mine's on the teacher view, so it's just automatically doing a panorama. And you can see down here in the lower left side, the 360 cities. This is where this virtual field trip was pulled from. If you go to that site, 360cities.net, you can type in lots of different locations, and if they have a 360 view, you can see that. So they actually had one of our college, they had one of the city of Pittsburgh, so that was really cool to pull in. But
Awesome.
quarantine, I'm kind of tired of Pittsburgh, so I'm going to pull in the Golden Gate Bridge here.
This is
But
great.
I know it's fantastic. It really is a cool way for students to go outside of their classroom and be engaged somewhere else. This is a great way for us to ask students, what do you see? What do you notice? What do you think do you think it's hot or cold here? What do you think people wear here? Stuff like that, just to get
Mhm.
them talking and engaging in that content, setting the stage for maybe a story that's going to take place. So I love these types of questions, and you should have something coming up on your screen soonish. How do you feel when faced with challenges? And this is just an example of a drawing type response. So for a drawing response, you can have a background image like this one I have here. We have a blank face. You can draw it in there. Or you can just have a blank canvas when students can draw out their answers. I loved asking my exceptional learners class, which is an intro to special ed class, write out the 10 steps of the special education process. They were able to go in there, write them out, or you can even notice on the left hand side, we have a typing feature. You can pop that in there too. Most students enjoy using the pen. And it's just a great way to get those ideas out there in a different medium and in a different way. You'll notice on the teacher view, if you're not looking at the teacher view, I can see students' progress. Ooh, this person looks angry. Angry eyes there. Look at that. But I can also see students' progress. So think about this: if students are solving a math problem, I can see them as they go. And we can talk about how are we doing throughout the process. And we can talk about where we getting hung up, where are we excelling. We can also share examples. So as soon as someone submits their answer here, I can go and I can share on everybody's screen an example. I'll just stop talking and let you guys draw. These are great, guys. Nice work. I think I'd have to be up here with a question and exclamation point face. I love it. Excited, stressed, crazy hair, question marks. Lots of great responses here. So as the teacher, I can pull this activity back and I can share a specific response with you. So I'll share this one and everyone should see this one on their screen. And we can talk about, what do you think this person's feeling when they face a challenge? Let's look at their facial expression. Let's look at these questions and exclamation points. What do you think they mean? And we can have a discussion about that. And I think it's just a lot of fun to really have that type of outlet to engage in that content. All right. So I'm going to keep flipping through because I want to show you all the different options within Nearpod and then show you how to create with it. I'm not going to approve student responses. I'm going to assume that we're all going to be pretty good here. So share some ideas that come to mind about Nearpod and how it can help you overcome challenges encountered when teaching, especially during this time, right? So you can type in your responses. Hello, you can type in your responses, but know that when you click enter, it will send it out. I've made that mistake many a times. So you can type in your response, or if you feel like you can't express yourself in words, you can also grab an image here too. So I might type in teaching and it's going to search Google and I can pop that in there. And I'm going to put sharing ideas and I'm going to click post. And if you can see other people's responses on your board, you can just, and if you like their responses, you can just click on it and it'll give it a nice little heart. And, that's just a different way to like upvote answers and you can discuss them and have people share, you can explain more about that. Tell me what you're feeling. Tell me how you can use Nearpod to engage students in multiple forms of assessment. Oh, I love this idea of hooks and virtual field trips. Yes. Ooh, someone got fancy schmancy with a picture. Look at that. Excellent. Yeah, get students outside of where they live and get them exploring different places. Oh my gosh, I love this one about hidden names. Yeah, I love hiding names. I always say to my students, way to go, all stars, because that's all everybody's name is. We're all stars in Nearpod. And I think it's so much fun, All right, so I'm going to keep rolling here with some different ways you can engage students in content. I think it's thinking. Yes, so this is an example. I'm not going to play it through, but Flowcabulary is a tool that's embedded right within Nearpod. They partnered with Nearpod, and Flowcabulary is kind of like hip hop rap songs meet vocabulary words. And there's a variety in their library that you can pull in to your lesson. Great anticipatory set. This one happens to be about fiction and nonfiction. And you can play through and it has closed caption and you can read through and sing along with the content here that students can interact with. And this is just one example from science. They have a whole library that you can search through when it comes to math and science. You can actually pick up historical artifacts and flip them around and check them out. What do you see? What do you notice? Those types of things. There's also Time to Climb. I'm not going to play this because I had my students do this morning and it was all like our college's like fun facts. So Time to Climb is a really unique way for students to interact with content. They're all asked the same question. They see the question and answer on their screen and their characters all move up the screen together. And as a teacher, I can pull that content and see how we're doing. There's also Phet Simulations. So Phet and Nearpod partnered together once again, and I can pull in different simulations for math and science. And it's fantastic because they too have a library for middle and high school as well that you can just pull right into your presentation. And it's just so beautiful.
Now,
There's also,
I'm going to interrupt
go
1
ahead.
second because there's a hand up. There's a hand up.
Ooh,
so
fun.
Mariah has her hand up. So I'm going to unmute Mariah and see. Mariah, do you have a question?
Yeah, so I came in a little late. How do I actually, because I noticed other people were actually posting things like in the Nearpod. How do I get so I can do that too?
Sure, great question. Yeah, so you're just going to bebop over to nearpod.com. So if you go to nearpod.com and whoops. Oh, here's the code. This you're going to enter the code right in here, but I think it's going to be more up towards the top of your screen. And here's the code you're going to enter. It's on the top left-hand side of my screen. It's QTGKM, and it's going to ask you for your name, and then you can just enter in there.
And before we go, I want to see Ashley also had her hand up. Ashley, I unmuted you. So
What's shaking, Ashley?
Did you need to? Oh, maybe she left us. Oh, okay.
Sorry, Ashley.
If she comes back, I will. Her little hand's up, but I unmuted her and she's gone. So, okay.
Maybe she'll come back.
Yes.
Cool. All right, so we have the Phet Simulations, and from our math people out there, Nearpod did not forget about you, because they also have Desmos embedded right within their presentations as well. You just pull that content, search for it, and it's all right there for you. Now, I presented this to my students this morning, and I have like 5 or 6 secondary math majors in my class, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So I was like, yay. The BBC also has videos that you can embed right within their great for anticipatory sets or to review content. I'm not going to play that video because we are running low on time. I want Kris to have her blendspace time.
Don't rush,
right?
because yours is actually more in depth than mine. So let's take your time here.
Cool. So Nearpod also partnered with Microsoft, and partnering with Microsoft, they embedded 2 things within their content pieces. One is Sway, and I like to explain Sway as if old school publisher, remember like the card making tools that we all, were super excited about? Yes, and websites. Okay. So publisher and websites, if they somehow had a baby, it would be Microsoft Sway, because it is dynamic. You can pull in text and images and links and videos, and it all looks like a website, and you can design it in lots of different ways. All you have to do is provide the content, and you click design, and all these beautiful designs come up. This is one that they have in their library, all about the ocean. We can talk about fresh and saltwater lakes, and notice as I scroll through, this screen is animating, so I can flip through all these different types of fish, and we can talk about those. What do you see? What do you notice? Type stuff. And then we have our class activity, and this is all free, and it's all right within their library. So I didn't have to do a thing. I just clicked on ocean. This looked nice. I'll pop that in there. Sweet. So I love it. So Nearpod embedded Sways within here, and they also embedded a tool called Immersive Reader, which I'll talk about next week when you join us for round 3. Anywho, you can also, did you like that plug there?
I did. I see what you did.
I see what you did there. You can also embed Twitter feeds. So I pulled in Nearpod because I'm sure you guys are I'm sure Nearpod's like rocking your teacher socks off, because it totally rocked mine off. So you can tag them if you're enjoying this chat today at Nearpod. And they have amazing tech support. Friends, I text them probably about once a week on direct message, because we're on direct message level. So I'm like, hey, how do I do this one thing? They're like, here you go, and they just send it right to me, and they're like, hey Sam, how's it going? So they are fantastic with their tech support. So if you have any issues or problems, they are your go-to people. They also have a great FAQ and trainer material, and if you're interested, they also have Nearpod ambassadors called Nearpod Pioneers. And this is a great way you can become a certified Nearpod educator, which is a great thing to have on your resume. And that's for free. If you're interested, contact them, because that's all I know about it. This is a great time if you're student teaching and maybe your school is closed. You can try to explore Nearpod. They also embed Flipgrid right within Nearpod too, which is a video response tool, which is fantastic. Great way to keep that interaction with our students and have that face-to-face response as well. Students can respond to other students' videos. You can have a great prompt as they're there too. And they have a great blog out, how to use Nearpod 10 ways. This was, it's a little old, it's from 2015, but the ideas are still there. Great for content delivery. You can, if you have presentations on Google Slides and in PowerPoint, you can just upload them right into Nearpod, drop them there, and then just add in these formative assessment pieces that we've been talking about. So I'm actually going to end our Nearpod session today. I'm going to end our session, and I'm going to walk you through how to create with Nearpod. Let me
Question,
go.
Sam?
Yeah, go for it.
before because Morgan Durham has had her
hey,
little
Morgan,
hand up.
what's shaking?
So I'm going to unmute Morgan. She's been patiently waiting. Or Morgan, you're good.
Hi, how are y'all?
Hi,
Hey,
we're good. How are you?
good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm sorry I missed. I'm a little confused on what Phet was. Can you just real
Oh,
quickly?
yeah. It's science simulations and math simulations. So I
Okay, I
will
just
pull
blocked
that
it
up
out
whenever
then.
we create. Yeah.
I'm ELA, so I just got scared and blocked it out. My brain protected.
Okay.
I was
It's
with you, Morgan.
Oh,
Okay,
you're gonna want to
thank you.
connect with Kris after this. She's fantastic with ELA. All
Oh,
right. So
yay.
as
Thanks
you
for
can see, I love me some Nearpod, and this is the I switched to my free account. So if you guys go into nearpod.com, you should be able to create an account, and it's free. You can log in with Google or Microsoft or your email. So once we create our account there, you'll notice it's going to say, how do you want to create with Nearpod? You can, there's a Nearpod add-in to Google Slides. So if you're a Google school, you can just pull this add-on right into Google Slides. You can create within it. Or I like to do the old school lesson in Nearpod just because that's the way I roll. Sorry, guys. So that's what I'm going to choose. So I'm just going to hang out here and I'm going to wait for everybody to create an account at nearpod.com. You'll see that they have stuff for if your school is closed. They do have something for that. Let me look into that. I know they have something for remote learning. And then I also have a code for 30 days of a gold for free, but I've used that code, so I can't do it, but I can send it to you guys. So that'll be fun. All right, so first things first, before we create, we can check out the library. So on the, I'm just clicking everywhere. I'm getting too excited here. On the left-hand side, I can see Nearpod Lesson Library. And here I can find stuff. I always say free. I think as teachers, we specialize in free sometimes. So we click on our free, and Morgan, you were English Language Arts, and I think I'm just going to click all the high grades. And here I can go in and I can see all of their stuff that they have for free in English Language Arts. I can pull that into my library. I can see who created the lesson. So if it's a Nearpod team member, there's bundles of content that I can pull, and I can go in and I can just check out what these are. So let's try pronoun shift. And here I can preview the lesson and I can add it right to my library. And these are the free ones that they have available to you. So here it gives me a little bit of information about the presentation. I can preview all the slides. It gives me some great objectives that I can follow through, and I can add it to my library. If I want to share it with somebody, I can do that as well. So I can share it very easily through links and I can embed it. So for my students, if I want them to engage with this content once it's added to my library, I can do that too. So let me show you how to do that again. So if I go back to my library, I can search the Nearpod lesson library. I want to make sure I'm free. And I can also search via state standards. So if I'm pulling in from a specific state or Common Core or the next generation science standards, I can pull in different subject areas, grades. And then here they have different types of resources, probably lessons for our K-12 friends out there, probably best. They also have fantastic professional development. Kris, what do you want to add here?
I will tell you, I have used those icebreakers before. They're kind of cool because they walk you through the tools like you just did today, Sam, for everybody, where it shows you like how to draw and submit and be able to collaborate with someone. So for me, it's not only an icebreaker to get to know your students, but it's also an icebreaker to get them to learn how to use Nearpod too. So I would suggest, and they're usually free, and they usually come out with different ones for different grade levels. They even have them for college. So you might want to start there.
I love that. That's awesome. Very cool. Oh, Kris, I'm learning from you every day.
Oh,
Okay,
come
so
on now.
I can pull content and I can add that to my library. So I actually pulled some of their virtual field trips earlier, and I can launch a live lesson. I can share it. I can duplicate. I can edit any of the stuff in their library as long as I add it to my own. I can edit these lessons, rearrange those slides. But I'm going to show you how we start creating. So we're going to create something from scratch. Hopefully by this point, everybody has an account and we're all logged in there. So I'm going to click on Lesson in Nearpod. And let me, I can show that again because I clicked that really quickly. Sorry. There we go. I'm going to go to my library. Your library is probably blank. I'm a huge fan of Nearpod in all of its forms, free, freemium to ultra platinum. And I'm just going to click right here, Lesson in Nearpod. Now, friends, I recommend when you're creating in Nearpod that you actually develop your slides in something else because
Yes,
the Nearpod slides are a little weird looking. And sorry, Nearpod, it's true.
it's true.
So I recommend Canva or Google Slides or PowerPoint because you can just look down here. You can just drag and drop them and pop them right in there. It's a beautiful thing. But
Yeah.
whenever we start our Nearpod presentations, we can add a slide. We can say, what kind of slide do you want to add, Sam? And I'm like, what do I want to add? I want to add some content. So I can pull in a slide. I can create my text and my images and my video. Here I have my 3D models. See how I talked you through all those different types of content we can add in? They're all right here. And all we have to do is click on them. And I'm going to search for a destination. Let's go underwater today.
Yes,
And
yes.
it's going to pull up and think. Think time's good. Ava computers need think time. I tell my
Absolutely.
students all the time. Yes. And then I can just click on that and it'll just add that right into my presentation. Ooh, underwater
Amazing.
gardens. And I can click done. I can preview it if I wanted to. Oh, see, now it's going to be like, no, Sam, you don't have Nearpod Gold. Sorry. So you can add that in there. I mean, if you sign up for an account today, it'll give you 30 days of Nearpod Gold for free, which is great. So you can add that in there. Phet Simulations are also available. So if I go to my Phet site, here I can search through math and science for middle level, elementary, and high school. And my students can interact with this content. One of my favorite one was John Travolta and is like volts of energy. Yes, I don't have time to look for it right now, but he's
Oh
there.
my
He's
gosh.
hilarious.
I'll have to check it out.
And then we have our BBC videos, we have our Sway and our slideshow, our PDF viewers. I can also add in web content. And friends, this one, I wish I had this whenever I was a K-12 teacher, because I know whenever I was teaching, we'd say, okay, guys, let's go to this one website. Everybody start typing www. And then a big long URL. I can just pop the website right into here and it just comes up on everybody's screen and it's a glorious, beautiful thing. And nobody gets lost or going anywhere weird because there's weird stuff online and you mess up a character somewhere weird, right? So yes, I love this tool, the web content. Everyone can just go right to it and nobody's left out. But I think the secret sauce with Nearpod, yes, we can pull in our PowerPoints and PDFs and things like that. We can add some really cool ways for students to engage in content with virtual field trips, with video and images and slideshows and sways. But the activities, I think, is the secret sauce. We have the time to climb, which is that competitive multiple choice thing. We have open-ended questions where students can have a blank space to respond to. We can do matching pairs. And what I love about this matching pairs option is I can do text options for matching. I can do text and image, or I can do image and image. So as a former special ed teacher, I love having that text and image option. So I can have students match icons or match symbols for selection. I have quizzing, I have Flipgrid, Collaborate, which we had talked about. It's like virtual sticky board or bulletin board. I can do a quick poll and do like that old school memory test. That's a lot of fun. But the drawing one is one of my favorites. And they're super easy. These are super easy to make. All you do is click on add a slide. I'm going to add some content just so I can see I'm already out of space. I use it too much. And we can click save and it'll pop up in there. And then your presentation will be saved into your library. I would recommend naming it because that's always a good thing to do. And so let me go into this lesson that I created, EdTech Tools for Student Teachers. Maybe that piques some of your interest. And I can go in and I can move some of this around. I can save and exit. I can preview my response. I can preview it here, and I can share it out with my colleagues as well. So this is just a great way. So I know if I'm going into my student teaching placement, I don't have to email my co-op or like send them a huge file. I can just send them a quick link. I can also send it to them as a collaborator. So if they have Nearpod too, I can send that to them as a collaborator, which is a lot of fun. Great tool for one-to-one learning, face-to-face, virtual, station, or if students all have their own device. Fantastic tool. I just love Nearpod. So let me go and find the code for you guys that I have. After Kris is done talking, I'll pop it in the chat there, and you guys can have 30 days of gold for free on Nearpod. So that was my spiel with Nearpod. I think I did pretty good in 40 minutes. What do you think, Kris?
Oh my gosh, you killed it. It was great.
Whoop, whoop.
All right, so
All right.
let's see if we can do this smooth transition. Yikes. It's me being able to share my screen. Oh.
Yeah.
I was also monitoring the questions and the hand raising. I don't know how well I will do.
I can monitor at this time.
My little, can you look at that?
Yes, absolutely.
I answered all the questions, and there's no hand in the air right now.
Okay.
Which is okay. So I'm going to talk about blendspace. Now I would say if we were doing a rating, what Sam shared with Nearpod, that would be top of the line. And you actually have the opportunity to keep that sort of low key, or you can ride it all the way up to the gold tip, like she was explaining. With blendspace, it is a little lower key and it doesn't have as many really cool bells and whistles. So that being said, let me share my screen. Actually, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Yes.
So I want to minimize this little thing. You're going to take care of the people, so I'm going to push them out of the way.
I will take care of the people.
You take care of the people. That would be fantastic. Thanks. Okay, so I'm actually in my class. I had classes today with my students, and a bunch of them are on this evening, which I'm happy to see. My little reading for some free people, my juniors. Thanks for jumping in. But I also have Matt's on board, supervisors on board, lots of friends out there, so I appreciate it. Amy Andrews from Washington County in here with us. So shout out to all my kids and my peeps. But what we're looking at right now is a classroom. So if I go to blendspace, and you guys, I'm going to invite you to go there in a minute, but for right now, I just want to show you, when you sign on, there are opportunities for you to join free, and then I don't think there's a paid version, at least to my knowledge. I currently found out that I have 2 accounts. My kids were trying to put their work into their class for me today, and they had 2 different classes, and I was like, I don't understand how I made 2 different classes. Well, lo and behold, I have 2 different accounts. So the great thing about it is, if you look at my board, you can create all of these different classes over here. Each time you want. It's not like some free sites will say to you, you have a limited amount of classes that you can have. I have not run up against that. I've got 2 accounts running and lots of classes in both of them, and none of them have maxed out. So when I think about blendspace in general, I think about it as basically something where it's a repository. So what I'm doing with my juniors is we have created a collection of resources for our e-buddies. So I wanted to show you their class. So I just wanted to show you how many other things are out here, just you can do a million things. I'm going into their classroom, and each of them were matched up with a 2nd grader in a magnet classroom in one of our elementary schools, our local elementary schools. And our students were then to curate resources to share with their little. That's what we affectionately call our e-buddy. They're our littles. And their teacher was working on argumentative writing. And so, opinion. And so my students were putting together a collection of materials. So I'm going to go into Leah's collection. She had 2 different students, and she put together materials that go along with their topic, which was dinosaurs. So when you look at this, the cool thing about blendspace, this is the finished product, and I'm going to walk you through just a real brief example of how you build something like this. But Leah was able to put together a collection of resources that would support her little in his writing about dinosaurs. So she has a collection of things here where she's put together a video, she's found a website. She actually did her own example of writing informational text so that her student would have an example. And then she has additional resources here. I had asked them to do, I think, like 6, but you can see that Leah's kind of gone above and beyond for materials for a student. So when the student gets into this, it is something they can kind of play through like this. So if you notice this button up here at the top, if you click play on it, it actually puts it in sort of like a slideshow mode. So the student would click on this and they can listen to the video. This is something that, unlike Nearpod, can't be shared with the whole class. It is being shared basically just for one student. She can create the opportunity to share it with everyone if she wants to, because she can get the link, pop it out. And then there are these opportunities for kids to actually have discussions within. Now, it's not super fancy like Nearpod is. However, it does give you the opportunity for kids to be able to add a comment and submit it. You as the teacher, and I'll show you how to do this, can put questions in as you build it, but then it goes on through, they just click through like a regular slideshow. They can go in here and open this link. It'll take them to what Leah wanted her students to see about dinosaurs. And of course, as Dr. Sam said, it's thinking. Sam, can you still hear me?
Yep. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. There's a lag. There's a little bit of a lag in it. I just want to make sure that you guys are still seeing or hearing.
Yeah, there is a little bit of lag, but I think it's pretty good.
Okay. Well, now mine is just really super slow. Maybe I'll just go back to this. Anywho, you know what would happen.
Well, now that you mentioned the lag, it's like, yeah, we're going to lag.
Got it. And then here's her example that she wrote as a model for her second grader. She chose a different topic so that she wasn't writing about dinosaurs, because we know sometimes when you do that, then the kids sort of get stuck on writing exactly what you've written. So I asked my students to model with a different topic, something they were interested in, that they could write an informational nugget, as Leah has done. And then if we click through, she's got additional resources. Let that load. All of this was vetted, of course, so that she made sure it was appropriate. But that's one of the points that I also wanted to talk about, is the fact that using this, this tool allowed us to communicate with our students, because there are tight security pieces, as you can imagine. And, you know, at one point we were allowed to actually be using Google Classroom with our littles, but I guess just in today's time and age, it was not something that was really, I guess, appropriate. They were afraid. And so by using blendspace, the students were able to access it on their iPads, and the teacher could see it, embed it, which I was also seeing it, embedding it, and making sure that it was appropriate for the littles. Okay, let me actually go over here to an example of how you can make one. Okay, so the best thing in the world about this is the search engine that's built right in. So this topic is specifically about coding and girls who code. So if I wanted to search for something, you can choose from this bar on the right-hand side. This, to me, as you were saying, Sam, the secret sauce for you from Nearpod, with the interactive pieces for the students. For me, it is this bar on the right. So when my students want to search for something, they would just put in their topic. So I'm going to go to actually YouTube. And that's the great thing. They have their own resources built within TES, which is the owner of blendspace. They have a YouTube search engine. They have Google. They have Google Images, which we talked to our students about using Google Images because those are okay to use. You don't have to deal with the copyright issue. They also are connected directly to Flickr. They're connected to web pages you can insert. They have a place where you can upload your own resources if you would like. You can also connect to your Google Drive. You can connect to Dropbox. And you can also upload media or files from your own desktop. So to me, this is everything that I need all in one place. So if I go over here and I put the YouTube, I want to click on that. And I'm going to search for girls and coding and click search, then what happens is it's going to come up with all of these. I was doing it wrong. Of course it did, right? Let me do coding with girls. Oh, I don't know why something went wrong with my YouTube. Coding in education. Let's see what happens when I do that. I don't know if it's just my YouTube is not working right now. No, maybe it's not. So fine, we'll go over to Google. Let's see what Google. Okay, so let's say usually they do prioritize them and they'll put, right? You gotta love it. But it allows you to go and preview it. If you are like, oh, absolutely, positively, this is what I wanted to do. Why all students should learn how to code. If I want to preview it, because there's a lag, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to show you what the best part is. Let's say you commit to this. You just take it, click it, and drag it into the box. Sure you do. And then it'll stick. Sorry about the lag and the delay. I guess it's just too much for my poor little computer. Plus, we've been talking about the fact that so many people are on the internet that it's just on overload. But you saw how easy that was, right? I just clicked in my topic that I wanted. You can choose your search engine here. And then when you find the resource that you want, you just simply grab it, drag it, and it drops right in. Usually when you start a fresh blendspace, it has, I believe, 6 rows. And if you want to add a row, no problem. You just click on add a row. It gives you 3 more boxes across your rows. You can continue to build. And that's something that my students have asked me. They wanted to know if it was something that happens in real time. So when they put their materials in my classroom, they wanted to make sure that they would be able to continue to add to it for their little, and they can. So it is like working on Google Drive or working with OneDrive, anything like that where it's real time. It works, not a problem. The thing that I also like when I want to upload something from my own computer, so I did this earlier because I knew there'd be this lag. So what I did was I uploaded a picture of a emoji that said they want to, let's discuss. And so it is this right here. We're fetching your document. Please wait. So I added that to start off my picture, but I wanted to show you too that you can actually add materials to that. So let's see how quickly it will let me go back. Because you can click on the actual box and it flips it around. And when it flips it around, you can add material to it that will then appear in the slideshow. Oh, well, good grief, that's not what I wanted it to do. Hold on. Oh, that is not what I wanted it to do. Give me a second. Get a thinking time.
I love that you can see the views, how many students viewed it right there on that dashboard. That's really cool.
Yeah. Alrighty. So it's loading. I just want to flip it around just to show you, and I'm almost finished. So here it's showing you that you can edit this, and so I'm going to click on it, and it flipped it around. And so here I can add a description where if I wanted to put some talking points when I first start this, how many of you know how to code? Would you even know what coding is? Kind of the way that Dr. Sam started our activity off with blendspace. You could put questions here. And when you finish, you put it around, and when you go into the actual show, the questions appear. So for example, let me go in and show you. Go back into play. Hold on. Hopefully it'll go. And I want to go to the second picture because I have a description of Josh Funk's book, How to Code a Roller Coaster. Maybe I do. I am watching the time too, as long as this is going. We are going to have to start wrapping up. So while we're waiting for this, do we want to save Zoom for our next session? Like that's just something that we want to kind of put out there that we want to talk about Zoom. Ooh, yeah, here it is. So you can see up here in the far right, I actually was on a website and grabbed a little bit of a description of what this book was about so that people could look at it and then add a comment in this box and submit it. So it does allow for a little interaction like Nearpod does, but it's just not as fancy, I would say. So let me see if I can stop sharing my screen. I think that'll make a big difference.
I love that feature that you can add in a discussion and students can respond right away. I think that's really cool to track for teaching, to see what decisions you need to make in regards to the content that you're throwing down. I think that's awesome.
Right, and I think, you know, the thing about having, let me see, I want to stop this, about having, do this. Oh. There we go. My
Good.
screen stopped sharing.
Yep. You're not sharing anymore.
Oh,
you took your toys and went home.
Good. So, so what I wanted to say was, you know, I feel like today by showing Nearpod and then also showing blendspace, we've shown two very different yet similar platforms. And I feel like they're both intimidating in their own right. And people will then be able to decide, you know, which of these do they feel they could take a jump and try to build. My kids did it in just one class period. So, you know, it might be something that folks would be willing to try.
Yeah, I agree. And both of those have great tutorials that go alongside the tools. They have great tech support and libraries to get you started. So I would say, like Chris Nesi says on the House of Ed Tech podcast, technology isn't hard, just give it a try. And then speaking of that, so in our original email that we sent out, or form that we sent out to attendees for our first presentation, we had about 70 people respond to that. And in the questions it said, or comments said, what questions do you have? And we've had about a handful of people ask, what is Zoom? So we wanted to see if you guys would like us to do a session in Zoom, using Zoom, do our next session using Zoom, or if this GoToMeeting is driving with you. So if we can just, are we able to put a poll in GoToMeeting, or can we
I think, yes, there is a poll. Mine is spinning like crazy, Sam. Can you see, if you look in the bar where you were able to do questions?
I'm still in it. I'm at,
oh, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Cool.
Create a new poll. Let's see.
Yeah, so we wanted to see if you would like us, if you would like us to demo Zoom and do a presentation, one of these webinars in Zoom, or if GoToMeeting is your jam. Next week, we'd like to present about accessibility options. So I'll be presenting accessibility options for Microsoft, and Kris will be presenting accessibility options for Google, for the Chrome browser And then I'll be doing ones for Microsoft products that are actually free and across platforms. So you can use them PC and Mac, iPad, Android, and Google and all that good fun stuff. So I'm really excited about next week's session. It is kind of like my ultimate jam. I love me some accessibility options. So we're excited to present that next week. So if you guys want to just share in the chat, if you can put a Z for Zoom or is this GoToMeeting?
The poll's not.
Okay, Z for Zoom and G for GoToMeeting, and we'll see what we come up with in our chat. So Z for Zoom, if you want us to work in Zoom for next week, so you guys get a feel for what that's like, or G for GoToMeeting. So if you guys can please respond there, and we'll be tweeting out. I feel like I want to say the same bat time, same bat station for next week, Monday at 6. We're looking at, so we'll see, and we'll be sending out information to all the people in this attendee group and then also to the original email as well. So we want to thank you guys for your time. We want to open up to questions for our last. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to say too that we can talk about Zoom while being in GoToMeeting. Just in case people might be a little confused. Yeah.
Right.
So just in case people, yeah. All right. So I'm looking in the chat and also in the question bar to see if anyone has any questions.
Great.
Because the poll was not working for me.
It's all good.
Oh, there's a lot of voting is happening, which is great.
Cool.
So looks like a lot of votes for doing actually Zoom.
All right.
Which I'm fine with either.
But I think Zoom is actually offering, because of COVID-19, they're offering upgrades for their free service. So their free one is like, originally you can only have 3 people and record for 40 minutes with up to 3 people, but I think they're opening that up because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So I will look into that. I'm pretty sure that's what they're doing, so I wanted to check it out too. So yeah.
Yeah, I actually, I do have a paid Zoom account. So
ooh, baby, we're getting on your paid Zoom account, girl. Yes. Awesome.
Yeah, we do have a paid Zoom account which I can use.
Perfect.
Which is great. But it was breaking up a little bit when you were saying what we were going to be doing next time.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So next week we'll be talking about accessibility options. So I'll be sharing about accessibility for Microsoft products and their immersive reader, which is actually across platforms. So you can use it across any device. And Kris is going to be sharing about accessibility options for Google products. So stuff within the Google browser, apps, and extensions. So we're very excited for that. Woo woo! I know I'm pumped. And we'll be in touch about the date and time. I'm leaning towards the same time, same station, but still got to check, for sure. Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. We want to thank you for your time on this Monday evening, and stay in touch over on Twitter. Remember, #FutureTeachersLead, and we will send you out the Nearpod gold code to all the attendees from tonight, and we'll be in touch with our next session. Thank you so much, guys. This was fantastic.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Capture this. Have a good one. Be safe.
Bye. Yeah, wash your hands.
Bye.
You should be able to, I think, did it save to your, because you recorded it, so did it save somewhere?
It saves to the account, which is awesome.
Oh, fantastic.
About it. I need to change my name. You were supposed to remind me.
Oh, yes. Oh, see, it's on my list here. I have a list. Kris, take your name.
Got it. User done. That way that's done. Was there anything else I was supposed to do?
I don't think so. I think this was great.
So everyone's pretty much staying Zoom, but they didn't care either way. And your girl Morgan wants to know about becoming Google certified. So I do have, some excuse for that. So,
okay, great. Awesome.
All right, I'm going to close this out. And you and I can text back and talk and whatnot.
Perfect.
Figure it all out. But pretty much the same date and time. But
Yeah, I'm gonna
Monday,
stick
6
time
to
Monday at
7.
6. Yeah,
All right.
I'm wondering if a lot of people didn't show because it's a night session. So I don't want to do it during Summer's nap
Oh.
time because it's hit or miss if she naps, and I don't want a guest appearance by a 3-year-old.
Sure.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
so the
Gotcha.
evening worked out
No
really
worries.
well. Yeah, so it's just gonna have to be what it is.
Yeah, that's, I mean, still we had 34 people.
That's great.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, I think it's fantastic. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
You're fantastic.
So, no,
yeah.
you are. All right, kiddo. I am going to try to make sure this is safe. So I'll talk to you later.
Cool. All right.
All
Later.
right, bye.
Bye.